G'day Goonies and welcome back to the channel, and we'll be doing a full video of the player ratings between our game versus Sporting, which ended 0-all, but we do in the end move on to the semi-finals of the Champions League and a 1-0 aggregate, which is the first time we've reached back-to-back semi-finals in the Champions League. So very exciting stuff. Obviously, the football itself maybe still a little bit left to be desired, but no arguing with the results right now. We are through to the top four yet again, so plenty to be proud of the boys. All right, so let's get it started, shall we? So let's start with David Raya. I think David Raya this game, he had very little to do, to be fair. Only had to make one save, as Sporting only had a one shot on target, and that shot was way outside of the box and very comfortably just rolled into the path of Raya. So in terms of goalkeeping duties, I think he was fairly solid. Didn't really have to do much. To be fair, Sporting never really had a sniff. Our back line and our defensive midfielders did a pretty damn good job at protecting our goal. However, Raya's distribution was very shaky. There were a couple of moments where I think Sporting could have easily scored a goal. Raya misplaces his pass from the playing out of the back, goes straight to a Sporting player, and if he had the composure, just pass it to Suarez, who was wide open in the box, would have been a goal. But we were lucky. He panicked and he just sprays it out for a goal kick. Very, very lucky. And then there are a couple more times in that second half where his distribution was not great. He just gives the ball away, just kicks it out of bounds. That sort of stuff happened. Towards the end of the game, when we subbed on Havertz, I think it improved quite a bit. He was hitting Havertz, and it provided him an outlet. I think having Gyökeres on the pitch, we'll talk more about Gyökeres later on, it definitely limited the amount of long balls that Raya really wanted to do. So for that, I'm going to put him as an average. Good, solid goalkeeping, but definitely escaped with a few scares. Christian Mosquera comes in for the injured Yuri Timber and benched Ben White. And I've been critical of Mosquera playing at the right back, but I think that match was one of his better right back duties so far. He was very tidy, kept Araujo in check, which at times we struggled to do so in the first leg. Obviously, there was that one opportunity where Araujo did cross from within the box, and it led to a shot that hit the post, thankfully. But outside of that, there was no real issues on that side of the pitch. Mosquera did his duty pretty well. And going forward was pretty good too. He did find himself in dangerous areas at times, linking up with Madueke quite well at times. Overall, pretty good performance, pretty good shift for Mosquera, which is very comforting as we're still waiting on Yuri Timber to get back in fitness. It's really a puzzling story. Where is he right now? Hopefully he's okay. We definitely need him in the further stages of this run-in, but I think this performance has given me some comfort that Mosquera is a good replacement for the time being. So I will slot him into the good 6 category. William Saliba continues to be solid, continues to be the calming presence that we need in the back line, and didn't really put a foot wrong this whole match. Distribution was great. Didn't give the ball away just to a Sporting player, I think. Or maybe there were a couple of times where he tried to ping the ball long, but it got intercepted. But otherwise, didn't really put us into any danger and did his defensive duties quite well, which is all you can ask for from a centre half. So I'll put him as a good. Gabriel, the under centre half, still a little bit unconvinced with him on the ball. I mean, he does have in him a good pass. We have seen him in the past do some lovely balls. just going back to Southampton, the ball that he played into Havertz, I'll always be remembering that one. But still looking for that opportunity for him to develop and grow his skill set with the ball at his feet. Defensively, very solid yet again. Was definitely a big part of why we kept the ball in our control pretty well. But I would like to see more of him develop on the ball. I'm going to put him as an average. Hincapié comes in, finally back to fitness, back from injury after his international break, and he was excellent. He was very, very good, linking up well on the left side with Trossard and Martinelli at times, getting himself forward, and also was very aggressive defensively. Didn't really give away too many fouls, and kept the ball very tidy. And yeah, it was a big part of why we were able to keep control of the ball and control the tempo and see out the game in the later stages. Good cameo. Good to see him back. We'll need him more. He's that good. Declan Rice right now is our acting captain until Odegaard comes back, I guess. And so far, hasn't really had any real big performances to speak of, but still doing what he does best, getting back and supporting the back line and controlling the tempo at times. Still, waiting to see if he can't provide a bit more going forward. But otherwise, look, he did his defensive duties, but I think he does need to be a bit more creative going forward. His corners weren't that great that night. We'll put him as an average. Zubimendi. Finally, a good performance from Zubimendi. I'm going to put him as a 6. And he did get man of the match on the night as well, as awarded by the Champions League. And yeah, very well deserved. It was definitely one of his better performances in a very, very long time. He's been struggling quite a while, and this game, he was a big reason of why we were able to control the game and see out the game. Still a couple of loose passes here and there, especially in the first half, where he was growing into the game. In our first half was pretty miserable to watch. I think a large part of our lack of creativity and, I guess, Zubimendi's on-ball faults, passing the ball forward. But he definitely stepped up a real big way in the second half, and it was a big difference in how he played from the first half to the second half. And I think that a big reason of that was because of Zubimendi. I don't know what Arteta said in the locker room during the halftime talk, but it definitely worked, and we were playing with a lot more aggression, with a lot more bravery. It looks like we wanted to win the game until the very end of the game, where we just thought, okay, it's 0-0, 10 minutes ago, let's just see out the game. And see out the game, we certainly did. Madueke, still very disappointing with his end result. As I'll always say that I'll credit his ability to always want to take on his man, but he seems allergic to taking the ball into the box. He wants to go out wide, cut in along the baseline, and then put in a ball. But too many times he either over dribbles, gets a heavy touch on the ball, so he dribbles out of bounds or into a defender. His just ball retention is not very, very good when you compare it to the likes of Saka, who's able to use his body, who's able to use his physicalness to keep the ball out of the defender's path. It's a real big difference, and it does. We do miss Saka with that ball retention ability, and yeah, Madueke just definitely does not provide us that finishing ball enough. I mean, he's banged in some great goals in the season, but we just need that consistency from him, and at the moment he doesn't offer that for us. Eze. A good performance from him. Very good. He was aggressive all night. He wanted to take the game on. He wanted to shoot whenever he could. And to be fair, there were a couple of shots where he probably should have done better. There was one that he blazed way over the crossbar. And then there was one where he nearly curls it in the bottom corner, but didn't have enough of a curl, and so narrowly misses. And that he could have definitely, if he had a better shooting night, he definitely could have won us the match and put the tie to bed very early on. But other than that, made some great passes and behind the lines, was definitely the engine of our attack, and was definitely a letdown by our two wingers and Gyökeres up front. But yeah, if on a better night, our three forwards have a better night and we have a goal or assist under Eze's belt. But overall, I think he was good throughout the night. Definitely our most aggressive player, and yeah, our heartbeat in the first half especially. Gabriel Martinelli, I'm going to put him as an average. Yeah, look, lack of finishing product. Had some. It's not great when you think of a forward and his best contribution to the match was his defensive work rate. Martinelli was able to save us that one time where Sporting nearly caught us out on a break after a free kick, and Martinelli was super quick enough to chase down the forward, I think it was Suarez, and recover the ball, using his body very well and using his strength to outmuscle for the ball. So yeah, that was probably his best moment of the game, which is a bit unfortunate. His going forward, his crosses weren't that great. He wasn't linking up with Gyökeres very well, which we know. Martinelli and Gyökeres is not a good combo, and we know that. So hopefully going forward, Trossard, starts a bit more. You'll never know. But until then, I do hope that Arteta does go away from that pairing. Goes away from this front three, to be honest. This front three doesn't work for us. They just lack the technical ability, the ability to hold onto the ball well enough. If you want to play Martinelli or Madueke, I think Havertz up front definitely is the way to go, not Gyökeres. If you want to play Gyökeres, we need a Trossard in there, and fingers crossed Saka comes back soon. I think Saka does. Even though, there's a lot of talk about Saka and Gyökeres' relationship on the field, the fact that Saka, there's a lot of rumours that Saka doesn't pass it to Gyökeres enough. It's still a better pairing than what we see right now. Finally, Gyökeres, poor. Very, very poor tonight. Probably one of his worst games in the Arsenal shirt, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate because he was up against his old club in Sporting. You think, it's back to Portuguese league opponents. Maybe he can do something a bit more with it. But unfortunately, yeah, very poor. Technically, ability was not good at all that night. His ability to hold up the play was not good at all. He was banking way too much and trying to run onto the ball, whereas we needed him to control the ball, head it down into the path of Eze or someone like that, and then build up from there, which when you compare that to when Havertz came on, Havertz did that a couple of times and it led to a couple of opportunities. Gyökeres did have an early shot at goal, goes over the bar, trying to slide it into the top corner, trying to evade the keeper. I think the keeper would have been able to save it if it was on target, but otherwise, that was probably his only contribution to the match. Otherwise, yeah, very negative night, which was unfortunate because he is sort of in a good state of form in the past calendar year, but in the past few months, but yeah, a big blip in form in this game. Hopefully he recovers it back because we need him for a Man City game, definitely. Mikel Arteta, overall, set us up as well as we could have probably. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about our front three and how they work together, but I think due to availability and due to injuries, I think that's what we probably could have, probably the best we could have dealt with. Probably the best hand we dealt with. Obviously, we're working back Trossard into fitness, and we can't really put Max Stallman to start into the lineup. So yeah, no complaints about the starting lineup, and I think the subs came on, and he definitely did tactically adjust pretty nicely in the halftime. as we played way better football in the half, especially when the subs came on as well. So for that, I'll put him as a passing good grade. And a quick one onto the subs. So Havertz came on for Gyökeres, and I think he was much better than Gyökeres. Definitely affected the game a lot more, a lot better. And for that, just put him as a good. Obviously, didn't really lead to any goal scoring opportunities. Maybe a couple of involvements going forward, but otherwise, pretty quiet night. But I think he was a big impact in terms of how we ended up seeing out the game. Same thing with Trossard, and also same thing with Gabriel Jesus. I think Gabriel Jesus is actually maybe more suited at the cam role than we initially think. He's been pretty woeful at this lone striker role so far this season, but at the cam role, he's actually been decent. He's getting involved in the ball, involved in the build-up, and he has a technical ability to retain the ball, which is very important. Probably doesn't have that incisive pass that Eze and Odegaard has, but going forward, actually did pretty well. He did find himself in that one opportunity where he dribbled out of trouble along the baseline and dribbled himself into the box and nearly scored. He saw the goalkeeper protecting the cross, and then he tried to shoot near post. If only it was on target, it would have squeaked in. But that was pretty good bit of ingenious play from Gabriel Jesus. Hope to see more of that. Finally, a little smaller word, Madueke. I'm sorry, Dalman. He's just an exciting player. Didn't really get too much done this night. I think Araujo was very good. To be fair to him, after being played around with by Madueke that first leg, I think Araujo played very well and locked down that side of the pitch, and Dalman had troubles getting involved in the game, but by then the game was pretty much done. So yeah, not a horrible performance, but still a lot left to be desired from the boys, and hopefully we can step it up a little bit more against City over the weekend. Come on, you Gunners!